Good morning, everyone. We're going to open up ED&A, and I will ask Senator Perkins Quokka to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, good morning. Our schedule is going to start with an amendment, a non-germane amendment that we've scheduled a hearing for, which is 2024-0687S, and it's an amendment to Senate Bill 600. And you're here in place of Senator Fenton.
I sure am.
All right, well, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Senators. Good morning. My name is Jenny Horgan. I am the Policy Director for the Senate Democratic Caucus. I'm here today to introduce Senator Fenton's non-germane amendment 0687S. Senator Fenton apologizes for not being able to be here today, but if it is all right with the chair and the committee members, I'd love to read a statement from him regarding the bill. So thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. My name is Donovan Fenton, and I represent District 10. I am introducing this amendment at the request of the New Hampshire Board of Accountancy. The Certified Public Accountant exam is administered by the National State Boards of Accountancy, and they have increased the amount of time candidates have to pass all 4 sections of the CPA exam from 18 to 30 months. The New Hampshire Board of Accountancy is adopting the 30-month limit in its rules, but the 18-month limit remains in statute. By removing the specific time frame requirement from the statute and referring to the adopted rules of the board, this amendment will allow for the new 30-month rule to go into effect when it is adopted in the board's rules and ensure that CPA candidates in New Hampshire have the same opportunity as candidates in many other states. Most states don't list specific time requirements in statute and point to the appropriate board to set requirements so that when new rules are adopted, they do not have to be changed in statute as well. This amendment will give the board more flexibility in the future to adopt the guideline changes in relation to the exam credit window. This change will help address the CPA pipeline shortage. Thank you very much. I know that this is a non-germane onto Senator Chanley's bill. She is aware of this and she has no problems adding this housekeeping bill to her pharmacy board bill. And I'm also aware that Jonathan Blades from the Board of Accountancy is here, so I'd ask any technical questions be deferred to him.
Thank you, Jenny, for your testimony. Any questions? All right.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thanks for bringing it in. All right, Jonathan Blades, come on up. Yes, please.
Hi, my name is Jonathan Blades. I'm on the Board of Accountancy, and we're requesting this update. The National Association of the State Boards of Accountancy has updated their model rules by which most of the jurisdictions in the United States follow. Of the 55 jurisdictions, which are the 50 states, Washington, D.C., and 4 territories, already in 27 states they have updated the conditional credit that you get for passing the exams from 18 months to 30 months. With the 3 requirements in becoming a CPA: examination, experience, and education. The examination, there's 4 parts to the exam. You have to pass all 4 parts within 18 months. And one of the issues that they have realized is that the clock starts on the 18 months when you pass the first exam, but sometimes you don't know that you've passed for maybe up to 8 weeks. And so you're already wondering, do I start studying for the next section or not? So the clock has started, and this proposed update will give 30 months, and it'll be on the date of notification that you did pass the exam, not on the date that you passed the exam. So all of these changes have been adopted by the board in the board rules, but we realized that in the statute, the number 18 months is there. So we would request, right now, there's a burden on candidates in New Hampshire because they have to, if they need more than 18 months, even though the board passed the rule, they have to go in front of the board with a waiver request. So every meeting, the board has to deal with waiver requests for the 18 months to get to the 30 months. So, if we can have this pointing to the board rules, which are already being, drafted right now to be amended, to include the 30 months. The waiver, it would provide relief from both the board and candidates so that they don't have to apply for a waiver. Getting an extension for beyond 30 months with these new model rules is also a tighter, which is good. So the people will get a 12-month extension. But in order to go beyond the 30 months, you now have to have, either a documented illness or being on active duty or something to that nature. So it provides relief to candidates who are taking the exam, and the pressures of taking the exam during working busy season as an accountant. That 18 months goes pretty quick. So. All states except for South Carolina have committed to passing the rules, and 27 have already passed the rules. Most states don't have the number of months to pass in the statute itself. It's just in the board rules. So that's the change that we're requesting.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Yep.
So is I know some of the boards that we have, oversight boards, aren't terribly active. Is your board active and meets on a regular basis?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Every other month we meet, and there are probably special meetings a couple times a year. So we're probably meeting about 8 times a year.
Okay, great. I did speak, for the benefit of the committee, I did speak with OPLC on this, and they said it really isn't in their jurisdiction, but they didn't have any objections to it.
Great.
So just wanted the board and the committee to know that. Further questions from the committee?
Okay.
All right, seeing none, thanks for coming in.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
That is all I have signed up to testify. Is there anybody else that would like to testify on this amendment? All right, seeing none, we will close the hearing. I am not certain where Senator Carson is. I don't know if there's any bills we want to exec simple stuff like this or not, but she is on her way. All right, we're going to take a 5-minute recess and wait for Senator Carson.
All right.
All right, we are back, and welcome, Senator Carson. I'll accept a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Second?
Moved and seconded, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, we are in executive session. So you all have a copy of the master sheet that Kevin has provided. Thank you again. And also, I forgot in the beginning, I want to welcome Senator Waters as our guest committee member today in replacement of Senator Altshuler. She had other things she had to be at, so we welcome you to EDNA. I know you've served here in the past. Good to have you back. I'll do my best. All right. So on the master sheet, we're still holding Senate Bill 309 and Senate Bill 368. And then Senate Bill 373 is Senator Abart's bill in the building code. He's asked us to hold that for a bit, so
Okay.
we're holding that one too. The next one is Senate Bill 478. That is Senator Carson's bill on child
But I'm
daycare
trying to get
residential.
these folks to get together because they're just not, they're kind of dug in on each side, so that's my job next week.
All right, so you'd like us to
So-
hold that another?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, just till I can get them together.
Senate Bill 481, that's your bill on Juneteenth.
Okay.
And I have some information that I want to provide to you, but I have yet to be able to get it to you. So
Okay.
I can quickly discuss my concern if you'd like.
Sure.
I have an email from Charlie Arlinghouse.
Okay.
And because I reached out when I saw this bill and heard your testimony about creating another holiday, and my concern was there was no FN with it. And so he did create an FN, and I apologize, I don't have it here. I was trying, before we came into committee, to get it, and
Okay.
I'm just concerned that there's a financial aspect to this. And I'm not certain why it doesn't have an FN. I don't really know. He did create one, and I don't know why there's not one on it. So
I see.
that was my concern, and that's why I've been holding it and wanted to talk to you about that, because
Okay.
I'd like us to, if there's going to be a fiscal impact, I'd like us as a committee to know that before we voted on it.
Sure.
So I will get that information to us. I'm gonna ask, I guess, that we hold this another time till we get to the March 6th, and we'll have some exec time then, and hopefully we'll get some more of these bills up. But in the interim, I will make sure that the committee gets that information, so you
Okay.
can. And what, oh, this came from Charlie? Did I send that along to you? This is,
Kathy put it in my notebook, but it does have a fiscal,
yeah.
amount.
Well, I'll make sure everybody gets what I received from Commissioner Arlinghouse anyway,
Okay, thank you.
so that you have it.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna hold that one. 485, Senator
Yeah.
Carson, that's another one of yours.
Yep, and we had received some draft legislation from OLPC, which Senator Perkins Coca had made up into an amendment.
I did.
So
Do we have an amendment for that?
We do have an
Yeah.
amendment. I don't have a copy of it.
it's 0594S.
Let me pull that and see if I have it.
I did have it made up into an amendment,
All right.
and while we're all looking for it, it was to address, if you remember, that some boards were Title 30 and some were not, and the
594?
OPLC is in charge of making rules for
Here,
certain
this is-
boards, but not all
what they
now.
sent
And
us.
so I don't think any of us had a concern with the concept substantively, but what we needed to do was make sure that it complied with all the changes
Yep.
we made to 310 last year. So, let me just see if I can tell you anything else more useful. So when I'm on page 2 of the amendment, starting on line 12. Okay,
You don't have one? Oh, here, you want to just pass that one? Because I'm okay with it. I think it just lays out the procedure and it gives them 541A to go to rules, which is probably something that they need to do in order to facilitate this. So-
right, because it originally read that, you know, the boards shall make the rules, and so in some cases it's the executive director now, and so it says,
Right,
It reads, the executive director shall, in consultation with the boards, councils, and commissions, adopt rules under 541A.
That's what we did that last year.
And is
Because
otherwise
they're not doing their own rules anymore.
substantively the same.
All right.
Thank you for
So,
the copy.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I
That's
would
fine.
like to make a motion of up to pass on Senate Bill 485.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second?
And I'd like to, well, Senator Perkins Coker, do you want to present the amendment?
Sure.
Okay, because I'm sitting here going, well, what
I gotta have it back, because that's the one I gave her,
Okay,
so she has the number.
Sure. Chairman, I'd like to move Amendment 20240594S.
Do we have a
and I'd
second?
like to move up to pass, a second.
All right.
Okay.
Discussion on the amendments. Senator Perkins Coker, do you have further you want to add than what you just did, or?
I do not, Chair.
All right, any further discussion? Seeing none, the motion is to move the amendment 0594S. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
And,
I'll move up to pass as amended.
okay,
Second?
so the motion is ought to pass as amended with amendment 0594S. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Move consent?
I'll second.
All in favor of consent?
Aye.
Who wants to take this one out? Since you did the amendment and it's your bill originally, who would like to take it?
Doesn't matter to me.
Well, I'll do it.
All
It's on
right, Senator Carlson, we'll take this one out.
the- Okay,
Okay. I'll give that back.
thank you.
Is that the amendment?
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
I'll put it in my folder, thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, 487 would be the next.
Yep, that's the one that I've got to get these people together,
Okay,
because they're just in very different places.
so we'll hold that one.
And just as a reminder to the committee on 487, I do have an amendment, 0320S that incorporates the disciplinary procedure language from SB 75 last year. Okay.
Okay. All right. All right, so we'll hold 487. Senate Bill 600 is the next one, and this is the one we heard the non-germane amendment. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion not to pass?
Do you have a second?
I'll second.
Second? All right. And I will move Senator Fenton's amendment, since he's not here. It is 0687S. So I'll move the amendment. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Senator General.
So, pardon me.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, I have a question.
Yes.
So I was not present for the hearing, but in reviewing the hearing report, I didn't really see much controversy. It seemed like a relatively quiet hearing, and I guess I was just looking for you, as my colleagues on the committee, to confirm, that there really were no issues raised at the time.
Yeah, we didn't have any significant opposition to the bill.
No.
Trying to remember exactly, and I apologize, I'm reviewing the hearing report as we went through. It looks like we had one person sign in opposition but did not testify. But all testimony presented was in support.
It looks like it's really a technical
Yes.
correction.
I would say OPLC did not sign in support, but had no opposition.
Yeah,
How's that?
Yep. And if I remember, this was an issue last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Went around a little bit.
yeah. Director Courtney says that there's a discrepancy in current law. It is important for the bill to move forward in some capacity.
All right,
Um,
we actually should keep our conversation right now to the amendment, since
Oh,
we're actually
okay,
discussing that.
all right.
Okay, thank
Which
you.
All
we,
right,
which
we're
we heard this morning,
a
and
little
then we
ahead
can
of
discuss
ourselves.
the bill as amended, the base bill as well.
Fair enough.
Do that.
I have no concerns with the amendment.
So I think we heard the amendment as presented. It seems like a good idea, and then, the Board of Accountancy was in support, and we had no opposition. So any further discussion on the amendment? All right. All those in favor of adopting Amendment 0687S?
Aye.
You opposed? And then, did you moved the bill ought to pass as amended, Senator General? Is that correct? Okay. And I don't, actually, somebody said, which way did it go? One moved it, one seconded it.
Yep,
All right.
I'll second.
All right, so now further discussion on the bill as amended, which would include the underlying. Do you have any further questions on it?
Thank you. No, I don't think so. I think Senator Carson was just saying something. It rings a bell that it was potentially even in one of your bills last year, Senator Carson, that we were adjusting the number on the Board of Pharmacy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so, yeah, if you have no further comments, then, I feel comfortable
No.
based on the hearing report. I just wanted some context.
So actually, we did raise a concern because this would create a 6-member board.
Okay.
Sorry, I had to go back and look
No,
at
that's
my
fine,
notes here.
that's fine.
And I'm always uncomfortable creating an even-numbered board for the sake of creating a tie situation. I often prefer to have 7 members, and the original board was 7 members. So I think I would suggest a committee amendment as well that would change the 6 to 7 members. And that would actually coincide with what the original board was, which is currently what the board still is, even though we reduced it to 5 in HB2 last. It was either HB2 or SB 107, I don't remember, we have both. So if we're gonna move it to 6, my suggestion would be we move it back to 7, so that we have an odd number of board members, so that we don't create a situation where a tie can exist.
I think if we're gonna do that, we should specify what the qualifications of that 7th member are. Like, is it a public member, is it a?
So currently it has 2 public members, and I think, oh gosh, we had this conversation with Director Courtney. Because I asked that very question. Let me look back through the here, I'll see it real quick.
Says, would it unseat a member of the board? And Director Carney said that is correct. The current membership of the board is 5 pharmacists and 2 members of the public.
Yes.
And so, essentially, would it now be 4 pharmacists, 1 pharmacy technician, and 2 members of the public if we? So essentially, you would add a public member? I don't know. This testimony doesn't match the language of the bill because the existing RSA says 1 public member.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, is there any indication that the 6 has created any issues? And also, it's a lot of work to serve on this, so I'm wondering, whether it might be worthy of more conversation with them and maybe a bill next year. I mean, I'm just concerned about our adding somebody, because I'm seldom have ever been involved in a board where there's been a tie vote.
So I don't know if that has occurred. My concern is that it could, and I think it's just good policy for the legislature to not create situations that could cause that to be a problem. And Senator Chanley was fine with us making this 7 members. I did ask the
Well,
question of her.
just thought I'd ask, but,
Yes,
you know.
and so was, currently the board is 7 members. We reduced it to 5, but they didn't, no one has come off the board yet because the
I see
term
what you're
hasn't
saying.
expired.
All right.
So essentially, it would continue as it is. If we put it back to 7, the only change would be we would make a, 1 member would be the pharmacist technician, not a pharmacist. So I don't know the answer to your question about would it remove a pharmacist or a public member.
Yeah.
I think it probably would remove a pharmacist because we could be more specific with that. Would you like to hold this one more week and iron that out? Well, actually, it'd be 2 weeks.
I think we should ask the prime sponsor if she has context on, those
Okay.
moving pieces personally.
Would you, we've adopted the amendment, but we haven't adopted the bill as amended yet. So would you, is the rest of the board okay with holding this 1 week till we can get that question answered?
That's fine.
Well, again, it'll be 2 weeks, I'm sorry, we're off next week.
Yeah,
All right, so you both withdrawn your motions?
yeah.
I withdraw my second.
Okay. So Kevin, we've adopted the amendment, but we haven't adopted the bill as amended. Okay, so when we come back to this again, we need to remember that. Okay? All right, so So the last bill we have on our list is 604. I had asked the prime sponsor, Senator G, when he was in, if he would consider looking at adding a study committee to this because there are other members of our safety personnel who would fall under this same situation where there'd be a tragic event that occurred, even our State House sergeant at arms, because they aren't sworn officers at the time. He was amenable during the committee, but in further conversation after, he's just asked that we move the bill forward as it is. And I think I'm inclined to agree with that. I know there's been some other conversations about potential changes that could occur, but I'm concerned that it may make the bill get way off base from where it was originally trying to go. So I think it's my opinion that we could just move this bill forward as it is if the rest of the committee is okay with that. All right, then I will accept the motion if someone would like to make
So
one.
moved.
Second.
Senator Carson moves on to pass, Senator General seconds. Further discussion on the bill? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And consent? Or is
Mr.
this
Chairman,
one that
I
somebody
think we
want
ought to,
speak on?
Yeah,
I think it ought to be spoken on, don't
Okay.
you? Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's why I was asking. Okay, we will do that. Any,
do you want to take it?
sure, I can take it out.
That's the chair. Okay. We have, what is this one here? We didn't do that's the 487, 478 about the daycare centers.
Did I miss one?
Yeah,
Hold on.
478 relative to daycare.
You said you wanted to hold on that one.
No, that's not the one. The
Okay.
one I would like to hold
My
is
mistake then.
487.
487.
Yeah.
My mistake?
Yeah, this one here, really, there was no one testified against it. It was a request from the Department of Health and Human Services.
Right.
So, I really don't see anything controversial about this.
I agree. I think this presented a good alternative means for the department to work with daycares that were sort of put in a, remedial status to try to keep them operating under careful supervision.
I'm sorry?
This is the one DHHS was asking you about that, so
Oh, this
What
was
are
the
they
one.
asking?
they were asking if you were going to accept it, and if they were.
Oh,
Did they have concern on this?
They did not voice any concern, they wanted to send somebody to talk, so. no.
if, usually we don't have people talk
Yeah.
to, unless, I don't,
My apology, I think I got the 87 and 78 backwards.
that's okay. Well, if, there were no issues with this, with the
Right.
department when they
There were no
testified,
issues.
so,
Okay.
if you feel more comfortable, Mr. Chairman, just letting it go until we get back, that's fine. It's
Why
up to
why
you.
don't we plan to accept this on March 6th? And
Okay.
that way, because the department did ask, and I did indicate
Okay.
that I didn't believe we were
That's
accepting
fine.
it today, so why don't we do that? Thank you, Kevin, for the
Yeah.
reminder.
Just let me do that one, okay.
So we will exec this on March 6th. Just-
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I don't think we have any more bills to exec. So for the benefit of the committee, I will be scheduling probably 4 hearings of retained House bills on March 6th when we come back, because next week we're off for vacation.
Okay, I thought we were told not to schedule them for. It's
On
okay.
March 6th?
Well, I thought they said get rid of all your Senate bills first before you start scheduling. Because we
well-
have a bunch of bills here that are all Senate bills. Do you think it would be better if we just had March 6th be the last day, the cleanup day of all the Senate bills that we have left before we start hearing House bills?
We have 6 bills left that we could exec. I think we could probably do hearings and exec those 6. I think my understanding was that we were not supposed to exec any House bills. We could hold hearings.
Okay,
That was what I understood.
okey-doke.
Unless I find out differently, my intent is to schedule four bills to hear on the 6th. If I find that I'm supposed to wait, then we'll just have an exec day.
Got it.
All right, I will take a motion to come out of exec session.
So moved.
Second?
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
And thanks to Kevin and Edie for their great work again today. We appreciate it. Thank you, Senator Waters, for
Glad to
sitting
be
in.
here.
And with that, we are adjourned.